Ciao!
Ciao! Hi, I'm Andrea Piccioni. We are in Montelparo in Italy for the 2011 edition of Frame Drums Italia Festival. We are very happy and honored to this beautiful journey with some incredible teachers like Scott Robinson
And Andrea Piccioni.
Thank you. And we will demonstrate and show in these features some small traditional rhythms with traditional drums from Italy.
Hello, I'm Bruno Spagna and I am a tamburello player and maker. I make these lovely instruments. What I'm gonna show you is this. This is a Tammorra that is a Neapolitan frame drum, and it's quite big. It's about 16 inch and it's quite deep, and it's got this kind of handle, and usually got heavy jingles, and as you can see they are not really resonating much, and this kind of handle is kind of compulsory in this technique I'm gonna show you, because on this technique you got a really constant movement of the drum. The drum constantly, whatever you do, whatever you play, it will constantly move from one side to the other one. And this is only possible to do it in an easier way, having this kind of angle. So you actually put fingers in two or one outside is better, and then the frame drum standing here, so let's say it's at the belly here, the position, and this is the movement you do. That's a good way to start. If you're not used to play this instrument, you can do this thing, and then you got it here, and then you can move. As you can see in this, what I did, the instrument was turning from one side to the other all the time. And this is important, really important also to have the right sound. What I'm trying to say is that it's not the right hand going up and down the drum, but it's the left hand supporting and helping the right hand to do everything. And so they balance also the weight of the drum. And when I'm playing, I lie a little bit the drum on the right hand, so I divide the weight of the drum between the left hand and right, and it's actually important trying to be really relaxed in your left hand to let the drum move from side to side without too much, let's say, friction. This is the movement. Tammurriata is a kind of music and dance, and it's also a way of singing, and it belongs to Naples and the Neapolitan region. And there are different styles among the village. Sometimes they are really close to each other, but you can recognize a Tammurriata from let's say Somma Vesuviana, the one from Maiori or Giulian, different area. They got their own Tammurriata, they got their own style of singing and dancing, and also the way that the frame drum is playing. During the Tammurriata, the traditional one, is the singer. Usually you got a singer and then a Tammorra player. All the other instruments are optional. In fact, the Tammurriata is also called ballo o canto sul tamburo. It means dance or a song on the drum. That's literally translated on the drum. So it's like you're dancing on the drum and you're singing on the drum. What I'm gonna show you now is one basic rhythm, and it's another important thing that most of folk Italian music is in 6/8 subdivision, so it's subdivision of 3. And while the Tammurriata, not all of them, but mainly the Tammurriata is binary form, so is in 2. And particular thing about the Tammurriata is the song that resolve at the end of the sentence into a let's say a cadence, where then at that point the frame drum goes in 1, just beat hard hit hard on the beat. And in that moment it's really interesting what the dance does, because before, during the verse and during this kind of rhythm, you got some kind of steps, and then when the ends of the songs comes, is really and the dancers completely change the steps, and it's much faster, and there is lots of spinning, and in these things we can find a lot of relation with pre-Christian culture and rituals. Now I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the stroke you can have on a frame drum, on this frame drum. So you can have the center, that is the powerful sound, and is where the beat lies, and so you can have this kind of in the center. You can have full hands, you can have less without the heels, only the half hand, let's say half hand, fingers and tips. So you can kind of modulate. So you can be really soft and follow the song, and then where the accents are, you feel a little bit stronger accent as well. Another feature of Tammurriata is the, let's say, spinning from side to side of the hand. Okay. So you have, as you can see, I always move the left hand. It's always going from one side to the side. So you can have this, and you can have this.
Can I ask you a question about the sound on the skin? Is it traditional to have that, what some frame drummers would call a doom sound, a closed sound in the center and an open tone on the edge of the drum? But doom, but doom.
Yeah.
That's traditional to have that tone there?
Yes, yes. I mean, in Italian folk music in general, there is you never sure about, because maybe sometimes you go in a village and you think, oh, I learned to play in that style, in that way, and maybe the next day you find another guy that is from the same village, but he plays slightly different. What I'm trying to say is that you can have a simplified version of a Tammurriata where you basically play with tips and heels. Yeah, you just go tips, yeah, this kind of thing. You have less opportunity. You cannot do much. You cannot easily move into this. So basically, who plays like that? Basically, just give the accent when it's needed, and that moves from here. So let's say this is a simplified version, and you go all closed sound. So you move from the fingers to the heels of the hand, or to the heel of the hand, and you never leave the open. You never leave the skin, so you will never have an open sound. While in this other much more recognized way of playing Tammurriata, it's a better sound anyway. You got much more opportunity to make the music interesting. And in that way, you got the beat is always a close sound. You could say it's a kind of slap, but I don't think it's a slap in the way. You got this kind of sound. It's a close sound, and then you go on the upbeat. You go the open sound. So that open sound is always there. It's there or there. Whatever you do. say that is typical about the Tammurriata playing, and this is what I reckon makes interesting this rhythm and this pattern, that you got this open sound, not accented on the upbeat, and so it's kind of background sustaining.
So sometimes you do that open sound with a strike of the hand on the edge, and then sometimes you just hit the edge of the tambourine and the skin resonates, and you hear, like when you're spinning and hitting each side, you hear a little bit of ring,
Yeah.
but you're striking the actual shell of the drum.
Yeah, I mean here and here.
Yeah.
Then I can move. So I can shift. I can also do that. Now here I've got the open sound, because now I can have like this, that is not much open, but still it is a little bit, resonates a little bit, but then I can give it. Then you got this kind of thing, you got this triplet kind of decorations, and you can have various ones. The simplest one, this, just pull back the hand
The bounce of the
with
heel.
the heel, and then you always ended up on the open sound. The open sound is always there. So you can do it like that, or you can do it with your thumb coming back. Yeah? Or you can do a different form, like this. That is tunta, takta, tunta, takta. As you can see, the upbeat is always an open tone and is always there. Whatever you do.
I wanted to ask you about the role of the left hand in some of the slap strokes. Is there, in terms of the real powerful hits, is the left hand doing anything other than turning or dropping the drum?
I mean,
Yeah, that.
this can sound. Yeah, left hand is. I mean, it looks like it's the right hand doing the job, but it's really the left hand doing it together with the right hand. Let's say that when you do this kind of sound, when you hit the center, at that point the left hand had to support the drum. It had to become so hard.
To tightens the grip? You tighten.
Yeah, I just do it. Usually I can play without holding. Yeah? Now I'm bouncing. My hand is nearly open. I'm not doing much. I'm not hitting really strongly the drum, so I can just relax. I can be nearly open. Yeah, now I'm not. I just go. I mean, if I take off the left hand, it's falling off, but I'm not really holding it. I'm not really tightening up, because it's useless, because we want to have the maximum sound with the minimum effort.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying always, when I play, I'm relaxed. I'm just bouncing, I'm just keeping time. I'm really relaxed with my left hand. But then when I got the accent, I need to clamp with my left hand, otherwise the drum will go away. So let's say that if we balance, if we got one strong, beat from one side, from the other side, the same strength had to be used. Let's say that when we get there, we had to get to 0. No one had to win between the left hand and right hand. So this is, I don't know if I've been clear about this, but when I play, whatever does the right hand, the left hand is supporting and letting the right hand playing like if it was on a normal drum where you do things. Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, on the having a straight position of the drum, the left hand is really important. This is regarding all the Italian frame drums techniques and styles.
So are you, you're clamping down with the left hand on that moment of impact, but do you also drop with the left hand the drum into the right? You said they sort of meet with the movement of both hands?
Yes, and also usually the Tammurriata style, the position of the frame drum is like this, in this, let's say 45, this angle, 45, 30 degrees something. But then when I get to the end of the song, where I want to give the strong beat, at that point I just fall down much more. Yeah, this. The power is stronger.
Could you maybe demonstrate a little bit of singing of a song of the Tammorra?
Yes, I'll give you one example, because as I said, there are different styles, and I'm gonna just do, let's say, my what I like to sing. Usually in the beginning of Tammurriata you go in traditional. Tammurriata is always happening in a circle. This is a really important thing, I think, to say, because this happens in most of Italian folk music and dance, where they create a circle, and usually the musicians stay on one side of this circle, and the dancers are in the middle. And during a traditional Tammurriata, it's not a concert, it's a way of people getting together. And the Tammurriata is, it belonged to religious ceremonies as well. In fact, it nearly disappeared, but if today is still alive, and there is nowadays there is a revival, so a lot of people play Tammorra and sings and dance, but before it was kind of an obsolete thing. And no one wanted to do it. This is especially after the Second World War. So it nearly disappeared. And I think, and other people as well, that if we still got it, some people did some research in the 70s, and we really thanks them. But one of the reason, I think that main reason that we still know how to play this, we still got someone that told us, and we're doing it now, is because they are related to the Virgin Mary. These people, the real detentore, sorry, I missed the word in English, people that have been taught by their parents or grandparents or uncle, or in any way, they belong to those families where they used to sing and dance. Most of them, they are devoted to the Virgin Mary, the Madonna that is worshipped in that area. And in the date when everyone goes and worship and makes a devotion act for this religious things. Anyway, they go in these places and they sing, dance, and play the drum for the Mary, for devotion, as a devotional way. And some of the songs they talk about the Virgin Mary. Also, these got strong relation with ancestral pre-Christian rituals. And so in this circle, usually someone would give this song, sing a pre-Tammurriata thing that is kind of extended way of singing. And so the people gather, and then after that the Tammurriata can start.
I'd like to ask you a question about your research with the tamburelli in Italy. You've been to each of these regions throughout Italy, the Saltarella, Pizzica, Napoli, Sicily, these areas. You've investigated all these styles. And
a lot of research.
And your research was necessary to actually learn how to make them properly and also play them in these contexts, right?
Yeah.
So, in your findings, how do you, did you find that the tamburello and the Tammorra in these various areas, is it played equally by men and women, or is only women playing it? Could you tell us a little bit about what you've seen with your research?
Well, it's played equally. There is something about women playing frame drum. There's a lot of iconography where women are playing frame drums and men play other instruments. What I saw that there is still men and women playing the frame drum as well as singing and as well as dancing.
For example, at a Tammurriatas that you've been at, there'll be female singers, female Tammurra players, male singers, male Tammurra players. But they dance together, they play together.
Yeah, I think it's just, in some family, the woman is the singer and the man is the player. Some other family, you can find the other way. We're talking about traditional people.
Yeah, traditional.
People that do it because they've been taught by their parents or relatives.
I'm also specifically talking about today, like, this time in Italy. When you find Pizzica and Tarantella, you can find men and women who do.
Same.
Saltarello, Sicily.
Yeah, there's no, I don't never saw, it's not something like the frame drum is a women instrument or, I think there are lots of Roman and Greek iconography where there are always women with tamburello.
Of course.
But they were religious. There was Menadi and Bacchanti. They were worshipping Dionysius with Greek, because the south of Italy was Greek before Christ. And then afterwards with the Romans, Dionysius became Baccho, and so they used to do these rituals where the iconography is always women with tamburello dancing and playing, but I reckon that was a religious thing, and I suppose they were virgin because there was a religious moment. What is there? In fact, you can have in Romans time you can have this. There is a mosaic, really famous one, where there is a Roman with is a mosaic and. It's three people, 3 or 4, I don't remember exactly. One is playing the drum, another one is playing little bells, and another one got a double flute, I think. And they actually, they are street artists. So let's say they were working, the 3 of them, they were men. And in that mosaic you can really see this kind of movement. The guy there, he's going like that, so it really gives the idea of doing this.
Talking about Pompeii?
Yeah, the Pompeii, the mosaic. There is a man. There is a man playing the frame drum. So I think that also in the 1800 there is a lot of iconography, gouache. They call this a technique that was used at that time to paint scenes, and most of them they are from people that used to come from north of Europe. Most of them are German and English. They used to come in Italy and then paint what they were seeing as let's say, a souvenir of the time. And they used to these gouache techniques, that is a fast drying kind of technique. So they're really important. They say it's like a picture of the time, because once they started the painting, they had to finish it on the spot. They could not just go home and forget about and make up things. So basically they are really important to document. In these things mainly is women playing frame drum, but I think that is much more of a cultural aspect, because you don't need much to start to play the frame drum in the way that you can just keep the rhythm. Then if you become a player, it's something else. So what I'm trying to say is that for women, maybe in the the last 2 centuries. I mean, in that time, in 1800, and it's quite difficult because we're not talking about aristocracy. We're talking about let's say folk people, poor people in the street dancing, and this kind of iconography we're talking about was quite not. I don't think was at that time a normal thing for a woman to take lesson and start to learn mandolin or guitar or violin or things like this. I think that was for a main thing, because women had. So that's what I understand. Because nowadays, if that was a rule, nowadays we would have much more women playing the frame drum, while you go women, some men, old people that used to play this drum.
What about, I wanted to ask you about the connection with Spain. There's a lot of similarity between pandereta techniques in northern Spain and the various tamburello techniques in Italy. In your research, have you come across any connections with Spain? And what region may have introduced the tambourine first?
Well, it's quite hard to say if the tamburello from Italy went to Spain, or maybe from Spain came to Italy. For sure, in the south of Italy, the first iconography regarding the frame drum is Magna Graecia, is before Romans, when the south of Italy was called Magna Graecia and was Greece, was part of the Greece Empire. They were Greek at that time. Then the Roman culture took over, and since that time, so we're talking 3,000 years ago, you got images of frame drum in the south of Italy. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure about Spain when you can have the first image of someone playing a frame drum. But the techniques, some of the techniques are really similar in a way. They kind of got a different way of playing. I mean, different, but really similar for certain aspects. And also the frame drum is really similar, some of them. And I think Saltarello is really much, even the drum and the way of playing is quite similar to what I saw from Spanish. But I had to say that important thing is that the south of Italy until 1860 was part of the Spanish Empire. I mean, we were Spain. I'm called Bruno Spagna.
All right, thanks very much.